introduce myself. My name is Dian Salma. I'm an English literature student at one of Indonesia private university. Here I will explain a little about psycholinguistics and the relationship between language, culture, and talk. Many of us already know this lesson, right? But do you guys still remember what is psycholinguistics? Psycholinguistics is combination between language and psychology. Psycholinguistic language is the study of the psychological and neurological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, comprehend, and process language. Or can say, psycholinguistics the study of language, science that decodes how a human brain acquires language, processes it, comprehends it, and gives feedback or produces language. For example, you can see this picture. There is a traffic light was on the road, meaning it was a warning to driver. Where the red light means to stop, the yellow light is to be careful, and the green light means to continue the journey. In human brain has a certain place or cortex to place a language, a cortex language. The purpose of psycholinguistics is to find out about the structure and processes which underlie a human ability to speak and understand language.
Apakah kamu tahu, teman-temanku, apa itu lampu lalu lintas? Oh, apa artinya warna-warna itu? Mari kita lihat, teman-temanku, apa arti masing-masing dari warna itu. Merah berarti bahaya. Kuning memperingatkan kita. Dan hijau memperbolehkan berjalan. Jadi, memiliki arti untuk pengemudi. Lampu merah, berhenti. Kuning, bersiap-siap untuk berhenti. Dan hijau, jalan lagi.
Psycholinguistics also involves, number 1, there is language processing. Language processing is reading, writing, speaking, listening, and memory. For instance, how words on paper are shown in so meaning in the mind. Number 2, there is lexical storage and travel. It's the way words are stored in our mind and used. How we are able to make words into objects such as ball, and actions such as kick and love, and access this when needed. Number 3, language acquisition. How language is first learned and used by children. For example, learning the rules of grammar and how to communicate with other people. Number 4, spatial circumstance. How internal and external factors can impact language development, such as twins and their use of twin language, the influence of hearing and vision environments on acquisition, and how damage to the brain can affect certain aspects of language. Number 5, the brain and language. Evolutionary explanation of why humans have the capacity to use language and the parts of the brain concerned with different areas of language. Also considering whether or not non-human animals have the ability to use language too. Number 6, or last number, second language acquisition and use, looking at bilingualism and how individuals can learn a second language and are able to differentiate between them. About language, culture, and talk. The definition of language. The word language differs from Indo-European, which means tongue, speech. This word is sometimes used to refer to the codes, chippers, and other types of communication systems which are artificially constructed like those used for computer programming. A language in this sense is a system of signs for encoding and decoding information. So, language is the ability that humans have to communicate with other humans using signs, for example, word and gesture. Next, the definition of culture. Culture is a way of life that is developed and owned by a group of people, and is passed down from generation to generation. Culture is made up of many complex elements, include religious and political system, language, custom, buildings, tools, clothing, and work of art. Culture may be defined as the kind of knowledge which we learn from other people, either by direct instruction or by watching their behavior. Signs we learn our culture from those around us. We might assume that we share it with them, so this kind of knowledge is likely to play a major role when we communicate with them, and in particular when we use language. Slide 8, Culture and System of Talk. There is actually the relationship between culture and talk, and it is applicable to the way of how one lives. Whatever we do,
we think, we behave, there must be the influence of talk concerning with what do. When we contact to the environment, then we will soon contact to culture. And when we contact to the culture, then we start to think and respond to what we have seen, perceived, and heard. Our brain will be active to process it in mind, then become a talk of a concept. Most of us usually just point out two terms concerned with language, culture, and talk. We just call the two terms, language and culture, and ignore another one, talk. Lastly, there is conclusion. Psycholinguistics examines the psychology of language as it relates to learning, mind and brain, as well as to aspects of society and culture. Relation language and human talk. Language is a part of human life because each aspect of human involves language. There are some opinion the relation between human and language. Sapir word stage language called human talk. Language human determine. Human talk. Human cannot live without language and human live under language. I think that's all can I explain. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope that this material can have a good impact and can be beneficial in the long term. Thank you so much. Bye bye.